Good evening and welcome to Center Stage at Meek. I am not your host. I'm just the one that's sitting in for the host, Dr. Shameen Garrison. She is our host, our everything. She's away on assignment. So today you have me, Joshua Arjona, and I am happy to be here with what I would like to call a Miami Dade legend, right? The first gentleman that I have heard play graduation at the end of graduation in front of the students on the way out. All right. We had an opportunity to travel to Tallahassee
Yeah.
for you to perform for who is now the provost, executive vice president. So this is a special moment for me. I get an opportunity to interview the one, the only Ketler Macome, but for tonight he is Ketlersax.
Ketlersax, yeah.
How you doing, sir?
I'm doing very good. Thank you for having me.
Oh, you're welcome. I'm glad that you were able to make it. I know you're a busy man, and you were able to put us in your schedule. And we're going to talk a little bit about culture. We're going to talk about music. We're going to talk about your faith. We're going to talk about that instrument that everyone loves. I have a love-hate relationship with the saxophone because I'm a trumpet player. And, woodwinds and brass always have that, but I think we need both to make the music go forth. But the saxophone, you can't get around it. It's the most loved instrument.
It's beautiful.
It's a beautiful instrument, most definitely. So let's start off with a question at the beginning, right? So let's talk about the beginning. So in what way did Haitian rhythms and gospel harmonies influence your musical discipline and sense of calling?
Growing up in Haiti, music wasn't just something that I learned, it was something that I lived. From church, I taught discipline. From traditional Haitian music, I learned rhythm, I learned emotions. So growing up in Haiti made me who I am and the way I embrace music emotionally. From church, from gathering, from small events, from events at my school, and in general from the Haitian music. And all of these shaped the person that I am today. Yeah.
That's wonderful. I'm glad that culture has shaped your music and that you stuck with it. Because a lot of times when you travel,
Yeah.
right, the culture changes.
It changes.
So sometimes it changes you. But with that same thought in mind, after immigrating to the United States, how did music help you navigate the new culture while staying connected to your roots?
Um, I I was so connected to my roots that I was able to navigate faster because people are always looking for something new, the new rhythm, and especially I came with the music from my heart. There's one language, music is a one universal language, and where it comes from is the heart.
Absolutely.
When you play from your heart, anybody can understand any culture. So that's what I kept. I didn't want to change myself from what I was taught in Haiti.
Mhm.
I kept the same thing, same vibe, same emotions, same discipline, same rhythm, and I was just able to flow in the new culture easily.
Okay, so let's stay right there. How did growing up in Haiti, particularly through church, the community gatherings, how did that shape your earliest relationship with music?
You know, church is about sound, it's about spirit, it's about emotions. So I was taught all of these through church. And the Haitian music is more about emotions, the feeling. You never be in a Haitian place or a Haitian concert, you feel like everybody's living. They are living the rhythm. That's what we are about. We rooted from Africa. So all our music is rhythm. It's shaking your heart. Yeah.
Okay, all right, all right. And I can understand that because when you hear those compa rhythms and
Yeah,
it does move you. It moves
it
you.
will move you. It
I
will.
love it. I love it. What drew you specifically to the saxophone? Um, how did it become the voice that you use to express yourself when in your music there are no words?
First of all, I'm very introverted and I'm very extroverted too. When I can find
You both?
myself, I'm both. When I find myself, I can be very, very extroverted. So I think the saxophone is my point where I can be in the middle. I can be introverted and express myself to the saxophone. And remember, saxophone is the only closest to human feeling, the human sound, the sound of the saxophone. It felt like human. If you want to cry through the instruments, you can cry. If you want to express joy to the instruments, just like I did at the graduation, you can. So I found myself into playing saxophone, and let me say that saxophone found me because I always thought and was driven by the saxophone sound. When I was when I was 7 or 8, I remember I used to make my own instruments with papaya branch, putting plastic papers and try to blow it, and it sound close to the saxophone. And when my dad opened his music school, I said I'm going to play saxophone, and everybody wanted to play saxophone, and I'm like, okay, I'll just let you guys play saxophone. I'll play clarinet because there's not that many saxophone for all of us. So I went into clarinet, and after a few years, I was playing events, playing clarinet, never done before in the city where I came from, and I was in a band. I used to play clarinet, and the saxophone player didn't show up. And that day, the band leader said, "We need that saxophone part. Can you take the saxophone and play?" I'm like, I love saxophone, but saxophone wasn't in my mind at that time. And when I picked the saxophone and I started playing, I felt something different. And I took that saxophone home, and there's a sweet a moment in that because when I took it home, it was in January 9, 2010. I was supposed to return that saxophone, but the earthquake happened. So we had to stay home. So I stayed home with the saxophone,
And the rest is just
and
history.
the rest is history. Yeah.
So let me ask you a question. Was it easy to transition from clarinet to sax?
Um, to me, it was easy because I used to play clarinet. It's like you are driving a 2000 car in a race,
Mm-hmm.
and like I said, I'm a very introverted and I'm extroverted when it comes to playing music.
Mm-hmm.
You're driving a 2000 car in a race, and you get a brand new car, like a race car, an
Mm-hmm.
actual race car.
Right.
So I felt like saxophone understood me, and right then, to me, it was easy.
It was
So
easy.
yeah,
Awesome. That's great. That is, that's one of those things. I think when you have or you're gifted naturally, it just works for you.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm glad that you were able to because the saxophone is gonna they'll see tonight. Everybody's gonna see tonight how good the saxophone sounds. So let's talk a little bit about styles of music. So blending jazz, R&B, soul, contemporary styles, right? How does that um, keep you grounded when you're doing something like Caribbean music, right? Because when you're doing Caribbean music, it could just it moves everything, right? But then the jazz sounds, the R&B sounds, the soul sounds, right? Or do you feel that they're all the same? Because I may be
they are not really the same.
okay.
I'm not really a jazz player.
Okay.
A lot of
okay.
people tend to put me in the
We'll
jazz
put you in a box. Oh, I'm
jazz
sorry. I
box,
apologize. That's
and
not what I wanted to do.
I'm not a big fan of jazz. Actually, I'm actually trying to learn jazz,
Okay.
um, just for some reasons, but I'm not a big jazz fan.
Okay.
Because I felt like, sorry, the jazz players, you guys are great. I listen to some jazz music. I don't want to offend anybody. But I felt like deep inside, sometimes the jazz musicians, there's a connection that they don't find. They were too busy playing too busy note that, to me, one note would be enough
Okay.
to change or to touch someone.
Oh, so you say sometimes like the jazz players tend to be a little bit too busy.
It's too busy.
Okay.
That's again.
Right,
Please,
listen,
please, jazz players, don't come for me. I know they are very sensitive about this, but it's just an opinion, right?
so talking about that one note, let's talk about that. Describe how playing deeply, spiritually, emotionally, um, gives you it gives you a different mindset and a different approach. Talk about your approach emotionally. Talk about your approach spiritually, because I feel like when you play, there's much more than just the notes that are at play. You're putting yourself, you're pouring into the music, right?
Yeah.
So talk about your emotional state when you're playing, and the spiritual state that you're in when you're playing.
It's not really something that I can describe.
Okay.
It's something that, to be honest with you, sometimes I'm even myself amazed of. I hope that it's not. Um, I hope that it's not that bad. That
No, no,
a lot of time after I play, I would be listening to myself the whole day 100 times,
okay.
just because I'm like, what, I did that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So the state of playing to me is the state of finding myself. It make me feel good to looking at myself, finding myself. I don't know if I
No. Yeah,
explain
and
right.
listen, you're in a
So,
safe space. We listen and we
yeah.
don't judge. Okay, so you're
So
fine.
music to me is very expressive. I like to express myself,
Mm-hmm.
and that's one thing about me. I remember, when I first started playing saxophone, people used to just listening to me crying, and till now I can't understand what they were crying for because I wasn't playing that good. I just started. What were you? But it wasn't just the sound. It was the one sound that I was doing, not professionally, but I was doing it with my heart.
So your emotions were in it,
Yeah,
even though you had just started.
yeah,
That's probably what connected with people. That's what I'm saying. That spiritual connection with the saxophone specifically. I don't know what it is. I would have become a saxophone player if my brother didn't become a saxophone player. So I was like, nah, he went woodwind, I'm gonna go brass. So, but I understand. Listen, I could be playing the best notes on a trumpet, and a saxophone player comes in, it's a wrap.
I mean, you know,
It's hard to compete. I understand. So let me ask you. Um, You are or were a student at Miami-Dade College. And this is the part where we say Miami-Dade College has talent. Okay. Um, how was that journey as being a student at Miami-Dade College and then being discovered, because you had already been playing saxophone, but we didn't know that you were playing saxophone at the college, right? So then you were discovered, and then your education and your performance came together, and then it just took off.
I think Miami-Dade was meant to be part of my journey.
Okay.
I remember one of the first days I was applying for Miami-Dade.
Mhm.
I was with a friend. I remember till now, I told him, one day I'm going to be playing for graduation for that school. And I'm going to play for the school. Yes, that's my dream. And he said, um, you think it's that easy? I'm like, okay, that's what you think. But it happened.
Absolutely.
It happened.
I
So
agree.
Miami-Dade was part of my journey. Miami-Dade was part of my dream too, because I grew up in Haiti. My dream was always to study music. So when I came here, I was in a very tough transition from being an international student to come here. So Miami-Dade College was the first school that applied and accept me, and I felt like all the opportunity and doors that I was dreaming of since when I was a kid, they started here. Yeah.
That's amazing. Miami-Dade, you know, it does make it easier for international students
Yeah.
to study.
Yeah.
So, we do appreciate how Miami-Dade College has given the platform and opportunity for students such as yourself to progress,
Yeah.
to educate. And then you left us and you went to
FIU.
FIU.
Yeah.
Okay. Awesome. How's your experience there?
I mean, I like it, but not
It's not
more.
Miami-Dade?
Not it's not Miami
That's
Dade.
what I wanted to hear.
It's
That's
not.
great. That is awesome. Um, so let's talk about your relationship with the people that you play music for. And the reason why I say that, I know for a fact that you are uh, Provost Harrison's favorite saxophone player. And you know that too, right?
Yeah, she likes it.
So let's talk about your relationship. Do you go in to a performance and say, I'm going to get the crowd to love me? Or is it something that just happens organically?
That's a big question. That's a good question. I actually go in and say, are they going to love me?
Oh, so you asked the question.
I ask myself the question, are they going to love me? No matter as much as you prepare, there's always something. So mostly I don't really question these things because there's so much going on. For example, playing at graduation, I was graduating too, the same
Okay.
graduation.
Oh, I
And
forgot that. That's
yeah,
right. That's right. It was your graduation.
it was my
Because you had the
graduation.
cap. I thought, because we work graduation. All of us work graduation, so they put a cap and gown on us.
You,
But
and you know what's funny about that story? I never said it. I met Miguel a week before, and I said, I need advice. And he said, I was so busy going to school that I was enjoying going to school that I never knew that I was going to graduate until a week before. Yeah. And he told me, oh, you can graduate. I said, when? He said, this semester. I mean, and he said, you can ask for an extension or authorization to graduate since it's very close. And he said, probably the dean will approve that for you.
wow.
So I went upstairs to look for the dean, and she wasn't there. I think it was the assistant dean who approved it. And when I was walking down, the dean saw me and she said, Ketler. And I'm like, hi. And she said, we were just talking about you. And I said, really? The same day I knew I was going to graduate, a week before graduation. And she said, we want you to play at during graduation. And I said, oh, okay. And that's where it all
Wow.
started, yeah.
And the rest, as they say, is all
History,
it's the
yeah.
history, right? So the gentleman that we're talking about, just to give context, Miguel Murphy is one of the advisors. He's
Yes.
gone on to do bigger and better things for the college now. But yes, he was working with, at the time, advisement.
Yeah.
So he gave you the green light, said,
The
hey,
green
listen,
light, yeah.
you can go ahead and register for your classes for the next semester, and you'll be done by the summertime, and you can graduate in the spring. Because we only have one graduation. So, wow, that's awesome. That's awesome. So let me ask you the last question. Last question. If you had a room full of little saxophonists, what would you give them, the most important thing for them to get to where you are, or maybe even further? What's the best piece of advice you could give them?
I'm a teacher. I'm a music teacher. So I'm in a room full of these students or kids you're
regular
talking
basis.
about, yeah, every day. So one thing I try to tell them is music is not really taught. You cannot learn music from someone. You have to find music in yourself. So for my students, I help them find themselves or find music inside of them. That's why mostly in the program that I have in my school, I do a lot of solo. I let them play. I give them some solos. I let them express themselves. I that's my way of teaching because I want them to know that it's them that's gonna find what they are looking for. Not you can have the best teacher in the world and you are the worst musician. Yeah, the best musicians are the one that put the time into practice and put the time into finding themselves and connect themselves with their art. Yeah.
Wow. That is awesome. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, we appreciate you all joining us here at Center Stage. at Meek. This is the great Ketler Macome, a.k.a. Ketlersax, and we appreciate you for joining us. Stay tuned. We are going to be blessed with a performance from Ketlersax in just a few moments. Stay tuned.
All right.